John, while you were doing your segment, the Associated Press reported that tonight, Genocide Joe Biden is making a State of the Union address in which he says that the U.S. is going to establish a temporary port on the Gaza coast, quote, increasing the flow of humanitarian aid for the beleaguered territory. I mean, what do we make of this? You know, they're doing anything they can to provide. I mean, obviously, this is yet another propaganda stunt, a PR move to increase his chances of people, you know, voting for him. The Americans are doing they're doing anything they can to not do what they need to do.
Yeah, I mean, this comes 2 days after Super Tuesday, when in a number of states, I think it's something like 10 states, people go and vote in the primary elections.
Yeah.
And for viewers who are outside the US, that's where people go and vote for who they want as the candidate for whichever party they vote for. So obviously, Donald Trump is almost certain to be the Republican candidate, and Joe Biden is certain to be the Democratic candidate if he continues, let's say. But in Minnesota, for example, there was a 20% uncommitted vote in the Democratic primary, and uncommitted, it means that, you know, people are going to register a protest against Joe Biden. And this was far bigger than anyone expected. It was a massive uncommitted vote. And the days after, or a week after, the same thing happened in Michigan. But what's incredible to me about this story is that it says that Joe Biden will announce a plan in his State of the Union address for the U.S. military to help establish a temporary port. That's weird. Are they going to send the U.S. military openly to Gaza? And then again, it is, to me, avoiding the issue of why aid isn't getting in. Why do they need a port? They don't need a port. There are roads that go into Gaza.
There are many.
There are many roads that go into Gaza.
All full of trucks.
Yeah,
waiting right there.
For months.
2000, there were satellite photos taken a week ago that showed something like 2,000 trucks waiting at the Rafah crossing. And aid official after aid official after aid official says the reason the trucks are not getting in is because Israel will not allow them in. And we've seen time and again the Israelis not just blocking aid that gets in, but when a trickle of aid does get in, and we heard Dr. Arham Ali telling us it's a trickle of aid getting in, and he was just in Gaza, the Israelis bomb, shoot, and kill people who are trying to get this meager aid. And we saw the airdrops, which, as you said in the news report, Nora, that Tamara Nassar and I called humanitarian aid theater, a stunt. And I think I saw a statistic. It was something like, you know, these airdrops, you know, each one of them drops something like, is it 6 tons of aid, something in that order. Let's just be realistic about this. That is the equivalent with all this drama, all these planes, you know, the photo ops, 6 tons of aid, 1 airplane of aid. That's the equivalent of a truckload. It's
actually less than that, Ali. It's 3 and 4 metric tons for an airdrop, and there's 18 metric tons on a truck.
Okay,
so there could be as many as 5 times as much on these trucks. It's a crime that we're watching these.
Yeah, and then of course, all right. Thank you for that, John. So we're talking about less than a truckload per airdrop that is not being distributed in any organized or rational way. So it's less than a truckload per airdrop that is not getting to where it needs to be. So
And it's not what they need. It's dropping individual ready-to-eat meals, right? They're dropping they're packets, like military packets with one meal. So they're not actually even dropping appropriate food that can then be shared by the Palestinians that we've watched them set up these community kitchens where everybody is sharing food. They're dropping from these airdrops ready-to-eat meals.
They look like expired airline meals to me, if you've seen some of these photos. But my point here is that this isn't about, oh, there are no roads, or Israel doesn't want to let the aid in. So if they're not letting it in by road, why would they let it in by sea? Israel controls the sea, coastal along Gaza. It's been shooting and murdering Palestinian fishers for years. So again, it comes down to, this is theatrics. This is an announcement that is just designed to push the pressure off the administration, to try to give talking points to Democratic Party shills so they can go out and say, oh, look at what Joe Biden is doing. And this is pie in the sky because, even if people are fooled into thinking this is a good idea, well, you don't build a port in a day. It's going to take some time. So be patient.
Because Israel destroyed the port.
Israel has destroyed the port in Gaza. So the point here is that if Joe Biden wants to end the starvation in Gaza, wants to bring medicine to those babies that Dr. Arham Ali saw and treated and in many cases couldn't save, the way to do that is for the United States to order Israel to open the roads, to open the ghetto gates, the gates of the death camp Gaza, and let the aid in. And you think the United States can't order Israel to do that? Yes, they can, because the United States can turn that tap of the weapons and munitions and bombs and guns. And I don't care what anyone says about the Israel lobby. And we had that discussion with Professor John Mearsheimer last week. Yes, the Israel lobby is powerful. We know it's powerful, but still, nothing can, not even the Israel lobby, can stop Joe Biden from picking up the phone right now and saying to the Pentagon, stop the airlift of bombs, stop the resupply of spare parts, stop the sharing of intelligence data or satellite imagery that Israel is using for targeting. He could do that right now, and the aid would start to flow. Am I wrong about that?
No, that's exactly right. And just to say, and they should open the port, because Gaza should have a port, and people should be allowed to deliver aid to that port and deliver and export their strawberries and whatever it is that any other sovereign nation has the right to. The Palestinians should have the right to their own border. The fact that all of their borders exist inside the state of Israel is the fundamental crime that we're having all of this catastrophe piled on top of a 17-year siege that completely allows Israel to control day-to-day life in the most unbelievable way. And so let's not throw the baby out with the bathwater. The port should happen. The maritime corridor should happen. Make Biden make the port happen, and then tell Indonesia and any of these countries, Turkey, to float a flotilla of aid in, because the French have these ships that are medical ships. They have ships that are electricity generators. They could pull up a ship on the coast and power Gaza and put it back online, put the hospitals to allow the hospitals to use electricity. Those ships can be floated in. You can't build a port in a day, but you can allow those ships to come in a day, a hospital ship, an electricity ship, ships that bring enough food that you don't have to worry about these trucks that are lined up, because the ships can unload significantly more than that, that are on those trucks. All of those things should be happening. The port is an absolute requirement to break the siege, and it should be part of any diplomatic deal that the Palestinians and Israelis come up with to resolve, and Hezbollah, because they're involved in this now too in the north, should be demanding that there's port access in Gaza. And it's crazy that Joe Biden is the one to be saying that, because it's such an obvious thing that should have been happening and should be demanded by the international community, that Gaza be allowed to have its own port.
Along with the fully functioning crossings that have been sealed up by Israel. And not just over the last 5 months, but over the last 17 years of this blockade that has become normalized now. Absolutely atrocious.
Thanks for watching this video. Please subscribe to our YouTube channel, hit like, leave a comment. These engagements help us with the YouTube algorithm, and it helps us to get around Silicon Valley censorship as much as possible. It does make a difference. You can also support our journalism by going to electronicintifada.net and clicking on donate now. Thank you.